You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. I'm Jen.
And I'm Megan, and we're two boss babes sharing our businesses and inspiring you along the way.
And today we have a guest. Woo! We haven't done a guest in a while. Megan and I we had so many juicy topics to talk about. So we have the one and only Devon with All Sett Up event planning.
Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Woo! Devon's one of my besties, and we've been wanting her on the show for so long because she just has so much to spill to us today. Yes, we're super excited. No pressure.
So much tea.
So much tea. All right. Well, we'll do the normal intro. Do you want to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and when you started?
Yeah. So my name is Devon. I'm from All Sett Up event and wedding planning. I started my business. I'm going on year 4. So nice. January was kind of when I kicked things off, kept it simple for my brain. Like year starts in January. I've literally been in events my entire life, straight out of college, started with trade shows. Then I went into the agency world, bopped around to a couple different places doing events for them too. But now I'm here with my infancy company at year 4. Yeah. Excited to be here.
Fun fact, Devon and I met at an event. Just had to throw that one in there. Instantly hit it off. Actually, the bride was like, you two need to be friends. Oh. She literally said that. And you were just like thinking about your event planning journey.
Yeah,
or did you like start?
No, I don't even think I knew what was happening. So I showed up to this event. Well, so a little bit like how I first, I guess, is cool.
That
like,
actually is the first question.
Yeah, because I guess that'll like help answer this question.
Yeah.
Or go to your story.
Yeah.
So I was working at an experiential marketing agency. COVID hit, so there were no more events, which, sad. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, okay, let's start going into shopper marketing. And I was like, oh my God, my world is over. I'm dying. Like, this is the most boring thing I've ever done in my life. So had to stay with it though, because I needed a job because COVID. But eventually kind of was like, I got to get out of here. Also, there was that of like what was happening in my job at the time. And then I got married in October 2019. And my husband and myself planned the wedding. He also has an event background. And after the wedding was over, I was sad. And I'm like, what is this sadness happening like right now? Because like I should be so excited. And I was like, I'm never planning a wedding again. And yeah, and I mean like hopefully like let's not plan another wedding for myself.
Right.
And so there was like the mix of like, oh, weird, you have an itch to do wedding planning, and then what's happening at work right now. And so I started where I was like, let me do rentals for the workplace for the wedding industry. When I planned my wedding, there was only like one company that had really cool like lounge furniture. And so I'm all about like the experience and the visuals and the design. And there was like nothing. So I was like, let's start with that. So I feel like I'm talking a lot, so I'll like make this short. But I wanted to do rentals, so I was like, let's do rentals, and I started there. And so when I saw you, Jen, at this event, I was more so in the mind space of I'm going to start this company with really cool rentals in Connecticut.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you had done her wedding, right? Like you had rentals there?
Kind of. Like I was helping her source. Like it was in this space of like, what's your design? What's your vibe? She was very boho chic, and I'm like, okay, let's go on Facebook Marketplace and find you some cool things and curate your day. Mm-hmm. So I did help her with that. I was also like a guest at that wedding because it was a friend of my husband's. But yeah, I had no idea what I was doing when I met Jen. I was like, hi, I've heard of you. You're really cool. I like what you're doing. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but we should be friends. Yes. And then I think you were like, oh, I'm doing a styled shoot. And in my head, I'm like, what the fuck is that? What is that? I was like, oh my God, so cool. And she's like, yeah, like I'll reach out to you. And I remember turning around to my husband. I was like, she seems really nice. There's something about a photo shoot happening that I'm going to get involved in.
I love that. Wait, which one was that?
It was at the Hinterland with...
Oh my God, yes. Okay, I don't know why I didn't remember that. Yes, okay. That's how it all started. Oh my God. And then at that shoot...
Under your wing.
This is how I knew I'd love Devon. So the photographer, the lighting, you would appreciate this. Ooh. The lighting was, at times it was hard. And when she was when the bride and groom were over by me, the sun and like the glare and all of this was just, it was so bad. So Devon literally went and got a cardboard box, to hold in front of the sun. So the bride and groom had a good shot at my trailer. I was
That's
like,
good.
you are my bestie.
That's good.
Yeah. My arms that day were
Toned.
toned. They were toned.
Oh my God.
That's a team player.
Teamwork.
It was teamwork. So we
That's
hit it
awesome.
off right there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, I love that.
That's
so
great.
that kind of explains how you got into the wedding scene. Did you ever see yourself doing other types of events, or did you know immediately you wanted to do weddings?
So I never thought I wanted to do weddings.
Really?
No, I was like, stay clear. So I always did like the big branded events. I did, you know, whether it was PR launches or mobile tours across the country, all that stuff. People said to me, oh, you should plan weddings after my wedding. And I'm like, brides? No. Brides are brutal. And I like had this from day one. I was just like, not doing it. And then someone, I don't remember who, but one of my friends was like, what is the difference between what you're calling a bridezilla and a really difficult corporate client? Like, and I said, nothing. Like nothing other than maybe there's just like a little bit of emotion more connected to the bride. And I'm like, well, when you put it that way, like I have dealt with some crazy humans in the corporate world. So there is no, so like get over it, Devon. And so then I just was like, let's try the wedding thing. Because why not? Like my husband was just like, just try, just try.
Right.
And honestly, to me, a wedding is an event. It's the same thing. Like people were like, well, you're not from the wedding industry. This must be so difficult when I first started. And it was more just meeting the new group of like wedding vendors versus just other event vendors. I know some people, you know, teeter the line of both, but it was more just that versus what the hell am I doing?
Yeah. Like I wouldn't imagine that it would be crazy different besides that like emotional tether and like working with family and like stuff like that.
Yes. The families.
Yeah.
We love families, but families can be crazy.
That's so interesting.
Meghan gets the crazy side of having to rally all the family members together in a photo and all that.
Well, you guys were great though at that wedding that we had together.
We tried.
One of your girls was with me the whole time, and I was like, "Can you please just get Grandpa? Please, he's right there." And so it was so helpful because usually I'm just doing all that by myself. That day, your team was rocking. How many people did you have that day? Like 4 or 5?
There was probably 4 or 5 of us. We probably sent a couple home, but
so good.
We always just have to have all the people. The more the merrier, right?
Yes. No, literally.
The more the merrier.
Every time I would turn around and be like, oh, I need something, somebody would be like right there already looking me in the eyes. And I'm like, thank you.
What do you need?
Yeah, no. So good. Well-oiled machine for real.
Oh, thank you.
No, I mean it.
Now we all need to do a wedding together.
Please.
Oh, wait, yes.
Put it into the universe.
We have
Someone
one
book
more year.
us.
What's the one we're... Oh, never mind.
What?
The one that we're doing this year is...
Haley?
Mm-hmm. But no, I was going to say we can't bring in an outside bar.
It's far though too, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyways, we'll put it in the universe.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, everybody listening.
Please someone book us.
Dream team right here.
Call us.
Okay, so getting into a little bit more about getting into the wedding industry and the pushback from the other vendors, were there any other challenges that you felt jumping into the wedding industry versus just normal events? Anything else that you can think of?
Let's see. I think something that I'm like still dealing with now that I struggled with then is a lot of couples. If you haven't worked at a venue before, and I think a lot of vendors, not just planners, deal with this, but if you haven't worked there, you get the question often like, have you worked at my venue before?
Yeah.
And when I was starting, the answer was always no. And I try to explain that with my experience, you know, I can go anywhere. I can go in the backyard. That's a blank slate. I can go into a warehouse. Like I've done it all over. So to me, I have the expertise and the knowledge to ask the right questions and all that stuff to go in. But the barrier was clients are more comfortable with someone that's been there before. And then, you know, the challenge was then, do I go to the venues and try to get on their list? A lot of venues already have their kind of preferred vendor list. So there's always just that kind of challenge of getting in, if you want to say, to places.
Yeah, right.
But I will say I have sort of gravitated more towards the non-traditional venues anyways, where maybe it is a backyard or maybe it is just a blank slate somewhere. So I love that anyways. So I've kind of navigated and found my home in non-traditional
That's
weird
really
places.
cool. So you made like your weakness your strength to be like, oh no, that's actually my favorite thing.
Yeah. You want to go in a parking lot down underneath like a bridge in Brooklyn? Let's go. Like, I haven't done
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I resonate with that because I had been dying to get into Smith Gardens, and I did one event with them when they first kind of really became popular. And then we ended up doing the styled shoot there. And I feel like that's what really allowed me to get photos from them and allowed me to network with them more. And I actually recently, I think 3 years ago was my first event there. And I only did like 1 or 2 the first year. I did, I think, 2 last year. And I just got 4 leads from them recently.
Wow.
So I was like, yes.
I have one there this year. I'm so excited
SEO
for.
is working.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is, maybe one opportunity. If there is a venue that someone is like dying and itching to get into, see if they want to do a styled shoot and get the photos. And then
that's so amazing.
Now when I send proposals and I know that it's Smith Gardens, I have all the content to send an actual proposal with pictures of couples at Smith Gardens.
That's awesome.
So like that's how it all happens. And I know it takes a long time for that to really start working. But it's year 5 for me going into, and it's finally working. So you just gotta hold on tight. Okay, so what about like lessons that you've learned, like hard things for someone who's just starting in the wedding industry or someone who is in another industry looking to get into? Like, what is something that maybe you would have done differently when you first started?
So I think I would have done, I didn't really have the choice, but so let me explain. When I started, it was right when sort of the world was coming back from COVID. So weddings were in such high demand that it went from 0 to 100.
Right.
So versus a business where you're in your normal world, you'd have a little like slow ramp up. I wish I had more time to get like processes into place or, what is the best organizational way I want to run my business? Like, what is my contract? Like the boring admin shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hate that period. So because I just went from like, we have nothing to, we're planning 10 weddings in year 1 or whatever it was. I missed that part. So I think
can we just...
Yeah, first of all, yes.
Like, that's fucking amazing.
That's great.
So yeah, I don't know what kind of human I am to like throw myself into that crazy, but you guys understand.
You're an entrepreneur.
No.
Yeah, it's in your blood.
So yeah, just like take time to, I know it's exciting and I know that like you want to just jump in and get started, but don't forget how important the admin, as painful as it is.
Are you looking to up your client experience? HoneyBook is a leading client management tool for accepting inquiries, sending invoice and contracts, and keeping all your emails in an easy and safe space. Check out their amazing tools like the expense tracker, batch email sender, and email templates to get messages to clients with ease. Make your business run faster and more efficiently with HoneyBook. Use the link in the description for 25% off your first year. That's a 1-week free trial and 25% off your first year of HoneyBook with the link below.
Spend the time on it in the beginning, and it will make your life so much easier moving forward. It's like, I feel like I'm still playing catch up.
Yeah.
4 years later of like, shit, we got to implement this now. And like, listen, we are very organized. I'm not saying we're disorganized, but there's just like ways of working I wish I just figured out.
You mean
earlier.
coming from the entrepreneur that still doesn't have a bookkeeper? Oh, that one?
I just hired one like 6 months ago, but team bookkeeper.
Megan got hers last year. It is
Look at us, guys.
1,000% a goal. It's happening.
Yep.
There's non-negotiation this year. It's 100% happening. Yeah. But I totally agree with that. I think that that was something that I definitely saw year over year was just, and I do think it's learning curves, but I think I wish I hired a coach in my first year, which I did. I did hire one, but she wasn't specific to like trailers and this and that, and she was phenomenal. But I do wish I had a little more insights, because when you come in, you have no clue what you're doing. You're just like, this, I mean, you use mobile bars. This is cool. I know how to bartend. I know how to create an experience, and I know how to talk to people. But you don't understand everything that comes with running a business. No. Like
until you're really thrust into it, and then
so I wish I like did the homework prior of like all the behind the scenes things, and it just sets you up for future success versus the shit show that we went through that I went through. I totally agree with that. So through the process, now that you're
years in.
Yes.
How has running your business affected your life? Like personal growth in addition to the business growth?
So many good, like I am so much happier, I think, than I was. You know, and I think we all can agree, I think, on this, like people like see us and like, you guys run your own business. It's amazing. Everything is like perfect. You're so great. Like perfect life.
Yeah.
It's still exhausting. There are still stresses. So, you know, yes, I can create my own schedule, but instead of a 9 to 5, like I'm working 7 to midnight. Like, it's just been hard. That's another challenge of like, it's been hard to adapt to what is my new schedule? What are my boundaries? You know, when should I put my laptop away? I don't have the answer to that. Like I'm still attached to my computer because I'm still, you know, we're one man show. Like we have people helping and stuff like that, but everything runs around us. So that's been hard, just like scheduling and figuring that out. And then, you know, we were talking about this earlier, just time for family and friends and really making sure you prioritize that because we can go into holes, like black holes, where it's just, please don't talk to me. I'm so focused. And you can't forget about the people that are there supporting you and, you know, rooting for, like, yes, they're there and you know, they know what's going on, but they need some love too. Right. So it's just been figuring that balance out throughout the way, which I think is going to be a always type of thing.
Yeah.
So
I just went to Devon's anniversary event.
Yes, wait, I was really excited to talk about this.
We do need to talk about this too. And one of our girls was talking about, and like correct me because I don't know the full story, but you guys were going somewhere on a road trip and you were on your computer. And they were like, I don't see someone who works harder than Devon does.
Aww.
And like, I know that of her.
I was literally in Vegas. We went out there to go see Kygo. Let's go. And I had a huge proposal that I needed to go out. And so we were like getting ready to go out to the concert. And I'm in the bathroom, like all glammed up, like half hair done with my laptop, like whatever. And they were like, what are you doing? And I was like, guys, I just got to read this like one more time. And they were like, put it away. And I was like, no, it's got to go out. So I put it down, listened, but then literally the next morning at like 6:30 in the morning, I'm in the bathroom and they were like sleeping. They're like, what are you doing?
It's like a drug addiction. Literally, I was like banging on the door, Devon!
Go to sleep.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, that's dedication.
Never not working.
No, we're never not working.
Wow.
But I think it's a difference too. And I think you can attest to this. When we were in corporate, you were never not working in corporate either, but like it was such a different feeling than doing it for your own business. I think the reward of like, I worked so hard for myself now versus I work so hard for somebody else.
Yeah.
It's a totally different vibe.
Wow.
Yeah. Like winning a big client back then was super exciting and special. And everyone in the office would be like, rah, rah. But it's like that internal rah, rah that you're like, and you're like, I did this. So
that goes to celebrate your wins too. That is
celebrate
something
all your wins.
That is so important. You have to, because nobody else is, you're your biggest cheerleader. Although I'm one of your biggest cheerleaders, but
I called her my biggest. So I give superlatives out at my parties. Like, they're just like funny.
That's
like
so cute.
Some of them are funny. Hers was cheers leader because she's a bartender. Get it? But
that's cute.
Love it. But you have to be your own cheerleader too. Like you have to. And if you're not congratulating yourself and giving yourself a pat on the back, and I know that's so hard to do as a human, let alone as an entrepreneur, because you're like, well, and I read something recently and it was like, you don't see your own growth because you're always growing. And like that hit me. I was like, ooh, that's me. Like I built 2 trailers. I did this. You booked 10 events your first year. Like you added videography like very early on. And I feel like we're just constantly growing. So like we don't see, there's no end goal to entrepreneurship.
Yeah. It's like a never ending climb for, I can do this next and I can do this next, that you don't like look back at the last rung to be like, oh my gosh, I'm 5 steps up now.
Yep.
Yeah. Always throw yourself a party.
Always.
Like every day is a
celebration.
Yes.
I wanted to stop on my way here and get you guys champagne because in my mind I was like, they just hit 50 episodes, which is amazing. But I was running late, so I didn't. But we're celebrating with cookies that Megan
and
made.
Coffee.
And coffee.
Yes, having you here is a gift.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
But tell us a little bit about the party. So it was your 3rd anniversary, right?
Yeah. So I started the first year was small, and like, listen, there is nothing more important, like I was saying before, than your people. So I don't care what you're doing in life. I don't care if you're in the wedding industry. I don't care what you're doing. Your people are the most important. So they work their asses off for me every single year, whether it's even family. Like family takes a toll, right? Because I'm not like hanging out with them. So family, friends, my frienders that I bring in, we basically just come in. I'm able to curate an event myself where like I'm the designer, and I just curate a dope ass event where they can come, they can be the guests, and just enjoy and not have to worry about what's the timeline. Oh my God, where's the photographer? Like they can just chill. And so we went to a really cool like car shop, and we had a really cool dinner with music, and it was like rock and roll themed, so people kind of get dressed up. That's and so like fun. So it was just a really good time to like celebrate us. And like, and it's also, I do it in January because it's like then kicking off the next year.
I love that.
So it's like momentum to like let's go into next year.
Kind of like a team building thing too. I love that.
Totally. And like everyone doesn't get to work with everyone throughout the year. So, you know, they might work with somebody on one wedding and then be like, oh my God, I haven't seen Katie or I haven't seen Lindsay since like April. So it's a nice time for everyone to just be together and
That's
hang
so
out.
Cute.
And
that's such a great idea.
It's so fun. Like I want to do it more often. And listen, I go balls to the wall, so I'm not saying like you need to do that. If it's just like taking your team to dinner or whatever, like just those little things of appreciation is great. I take it on myself to, it's an investment for me knowing it's going back into my team to like help them. So you don't need to do something that big and grand, just like little gestures.
Speaking of, I need to take my team out. We haven't, because the holidays just like got crazy, and then, you know, but now we're in slow season, so I'm super excited to do something small.
You always do fun things.
The first time we went out with my team, hangover beyond hangover. Like, I think we were in that awkward new like friend stage too, where like they were new employees to me. We like only worked a few events, and it was just like, I think we went on a boat. And it was totally like a booze cruise. We started drinking at, I think our boat like left at like 10, and we didn't really eat that much, so made the mistake right there. Classic Jen move. And lo and behold, we went to a restaurant after, then we went to a beer garden after, and we should have never gone to the beer garden. You never need that last one. But it just created memories that like we talk about. We're like, oh, remember that time we shouldn't have gone to that third bar? Oh yeah. But I totally agree with that. Like, you have to put yourself back into your team, because they're there to show up for you. And you know, at the end of the day, you have to show the love to them too. It goes a long way. All right, so we kind of went over key relationships, which was another one, but I'm excited about this. But what are some like trends for 2025? Ooh. You got anything for us?
So like, I feel like my answer is gonna be boring. I'm like, sure, I see on Instagram like there's trends out there. And
wait, actually, let's pivot really quick.
Okay, pivot.
How do you feel about all the, you know, like all the trends that people see, because social media, TikTok, this and that, Pinterest, like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I'm sure a bride gives you a Pinterest board and you're like, those are not even real pictures. AI probably created them.
I literally had this conversation. I was doing like a mock table setup the other day. I'll circle back to that. But someone was showing me a picture, a bride was showing me a picture and said, I want it to look like this. And I can't remember what it was. It was something with like the flowers or the something, or no. Okay, my biggest thing. You don't set a table with the 2 plates and the napkin and a menu if you're having a plated meal. If you're having a plated meal, your plates are not on the table. They're in the kitchen with your caterer.
Right.
Everyone is like, I want my table to look like this. And I said, that's cool, but you're having a plated meal. So all these pictures are fake. They're for styled shoots, which are fantastic. I love. But like, I love and I hate Pinterest. I love and I hate social media. And why I say that is like, sure, it's great for inspiration. It's great to like kickstart some ideas and, oh, I never thought of that, or I never thought of maybe those colors together. What I don't love is like, you can't make, I like doing unique things for individuals that pull out something about the bride or something about the groom or something about them as a couple. I don't want to like recreate things that have already been created. So I'm not saying if I see, oh, bows are trending for 2025 or this color is trending. I'm not saying like, let's not lean in, but like, let's not just grab those things and go do them. Again, this is a personal opinion. Let's like talk about what what inspires you? Where do you go shopping? What social media influencers do you follow? Where do you go out to eat? I know those sound like silly questions, but those are things I ask my clients when I'm trying to figure out a design for them, because maybe they go out to eat at this restaurant and maybe it's not just about the food, but maybe it's the ambiance there. And like, what is it? Is it the lighting? Is it like the way the chairs look? So like, I know that's not a hard answer. Do I like all the social media? It's like, to an extent, sure. Do I share stuff that I see that I think is cool that's trending? Sure. If I'm like, ooh, that's cool.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm not someone, if you come to me, that's going to be like, hey, you're getting married. We're going to do bows and we're going to do that brown color. I'm forgetting mocha. What's the color of the year? Latte? I don't know. Exactly.
That.
So whatever, some brown color. Like, I can maybe mention those. You probably won't, but it's going to be more about what do you want? Yeah. Who are you? So
I love that because I started doing social media for different restaurants. And to your point of like the vibe that you get when you go out to dinner, when you go somewhere, I'm doing 3 restaurants. Every single one is a different vibe, different atmosphere. Like when you walk into one, it's like your classic Italian restaurant. When you walk into another, it's like this fun, like upscale Mediterranean where you've got like the music with like the techno and this. And it's like, those are 2 different atmospheres. So like, the client who maybe is walking into that Italian restaurant might not even want anything to do with that Mediterranean vibe restaurant.
I so align with that with my photography too, because a lot of times people will tell me what their vibe is, or they'll reach out to me because of certain photos that I post, but then they have a totally different style from the couple's photos that they were looking at inspiration for. And I'm like, well, I love that you love these photos and I love them too, but like yours could look completely different. Like we can't make them look exactly the same. And like I try to make things look as consistent as possible across the board, but like depending on the venue and like the bridesmaid color dresses or like whatever, everything matters and everything goes into place. So it's like it's a hard thing to be like, yes, I can do this for you 100%, because every person is so independent and different.
It's interesting you say that. I'm working with a client right now who's in the vendor search stage, and last night we were looking at photographer styles and she kept sending me pictures of certain photographers. And in my mind, I was thinking the same thing. It's hard. It's like, well, I already know that vibe that you're looking at is very like Bridgerton Garden and you're doing nothing like that. So it's like, do you like, it's hard. Like, and I don't know how to explain it because I'm not a photographer, but I'm like, I don't think like the editing style is going to come across exactly the same as this, because no, like
it's so hard because it's like, what are they attracted to in the photos? Is it the editing themselves? Is it like the dress that the bride's wearing? Like there's a lot of things that like underlying makes them think that a photo is appealing and they're like, oh, I love that photographer. But it's like, is it the elements that they're photographing or is it the person themselves? So it's so tricky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is bringing me back to like when I used to get a haircut and I would bring like the Jennifer Aniston picture. That was like the fucking picture of, I don't even know how many years that picture was, like the one you would bring where she had like the layers in the front. But if you were to put my face in Jennifer Aniston's hair, it would not look the same.
You have different hair.
Yeah. I have different hair. I have different like features. Like she's gorgeous. Like, so.
Well, you're gorgeous too.
Oh, thanks, boo. But like, that made me think. I will never forget. I went to one salon and she's like, I get this picture all the time from all different people with all different body, face shapes, this and that. I could cut the same exact hair for every single person and you will all look different. And I was like, wow, you're right. So like,
it's the same thing for hair and makeup people. And it's a struggle when I'm helping brides with that as well, where they'll say, I like this hairdo, and I'll show it to maybe the hairstylist or whatever, and they'll say, her hair is nothing like that. Like, her hair's thin, this girl's hair looks thick. So a lot of the times you just have to like kind of trust your planner in who they're recommending you work with, or like trust the vendors that you're working with. Like, we're all experts in what we do. We're not going to like lead you astray. Yeah. So again, love Pinterest, but like to your point, like hair and makeup isn't going to translate exactly. Photo isn't going to translate exactly. So you got to have a little bit of trust in an expert team here that we know we're talking about sometimes.
Yes. And I think that, I think it's a known fact that you cannot plan a successful wedding without help. Like, it is just, it's a known fact. And if you are planning a wedding by yourself as a bride,
maybe you're destined to be a planner.
Yeah. Or bless your soul.
I was going to say, the taken voice, good luck. Like, it's just, There's so many, I feel like, and again, I'm going to kind of be like, I was a wedding planner with corporate, but I knew that I could not plan my own wedding. Like I just knew, I mean, I got married in New Hampshire again. There was just no way, but also you want to spend the day and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if you are like, for example, at your event, and everyone you had there was amazing, but there was times where people came up to you a few times and was like, do you want this? Do you want that? And they were just doing it because they wanted to make sure they did a great job. But as a wedding planner, you're not going to go up to the bride and do that the day of. Like you are going to figure it out because that is your role in your job. And I feel like people, you know, some people who may or may not be on the fence of hiring someone they're like, oh, they could just come ask me. You don't want to be asked when you're sitting down eating dinner or right before you're about to walk down the ceremony, the stress level that comes right at that point. You don't want to have to worry about, is my table set up that all my guests are about to storm into? So I'm just a firm believer. My wedding planner was the best purchase of my entire wedding.
Yeah, you know, like I said, me and my husband did events, so we like did everything, brought it all in, all this stuff. But I also was like, I don't want to think the day of, and so I brought in someone to do, you know, stuff a couple months beforehand, and like best decision I ever made.
Yep.
So
when you get married, take notes.
Don't plan by yourself.
Okay.
We promise we won't judge you.
What, you know, in the hard times of just being in the wedding industry, the hard times of having a family, having friends, having everything, like what keeps you motivated at the end of the day?
Oh, I'm so bad with a deep question. What keeps me motivated? I mean, I think it's just the drive that my business is allowing me to do things that I really want to do. So those things are like travel with my friends and family. I'm a foodie. So like being able to go out to like really good, I'm not saying like bougie ass meals, but like really good like restaurants like more often than like maybe I'm staying home. So like travel, food, and just being able to like, you know, elevate my life in ways that I like want to elevate them. So yeah, I mean, there's days where I'm just like, holy shit, like, what am I doing? This is crazy. Like, I gotta go. Like, calling it for a day. But yeah, it's just kind of like you're doing this. And also, like, it's not just about, like, the monetary, right? Like, yes, that's nice. We all work for money. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I love what I do. Like, I could be exhausted. I can be feeling burned out. But, like, when I am at a wedding or an event, having those clients, whether it's, again, the client, whether it's a corporate event or whether it's the bride and groom coming up to you, or the couple at the end of the night coming up to you, just like the joy on their faces and them just being like, this was the best day ever. Mm-hmm. I know like that sounds so cliche, but like when I tell you that is the best feeling, like if you have not experienced that, like I'm sure both of you have, like it makes it all worth it. And you forget all of the bullshit that like went into it beforehand.
Megan and I are like smiling.
Yeah, I know. You're like, yes, I have chills. Yeah, so it's just like the drive of like, I know it's going to be worth it that on that day or like, you know, the day after. And it's just like knowing like I'm going to be able to like go with my family to Italy next year, or I'm going to be able to like go try that really cool new restaurant in New York City that I wanted to go to. Because I'm working my ass off and because I deserve it. So
you deserve it. Yes. I think we've talked about like our whys before. What's your like impact on why?
Yeah.
Why you keep going?
The same. Like just having that fulfillment moment of them being like, you were the best decision that I made today. Or just like, oh, I'm going to tell my kids about you one day. Like all of those little moments just makes you go, like, this is the reason why I do it. Yeah. I matter. Yeah. I'm like meant to be doing this. It's like, it just gives you that fulfillment and like wholeness about your career, and it feels so good.
Excuse me. Mine will never change being able to be home with my kids. Like I just coming from a corporate background, and that is like I will never go back, and that will literally motivate me every day. But this year actually inspired me so much because this was the start of me allowing my team to work a lot more events and me not work them as much. And one of my bartenders, she's a stay-at-home mom. And she is like me, like she's not cut out to be a stay-at-home mom. Like she always worked 2 jobs, you know, always the hustle and bustle. And her husband has a business himself. And she's like, I got to pay for Christmas this year. And my heart just like, I don't think she knows what that meant to me to hear that, because I was like, I helped you do that. Like, I didn't put a huge, money in your pocket, but I was able to help in a little way, like offset some of the struggle that we all have around Christmas. And like, if I was able to ease just like a little bit of that like stress, and it just motivated me so much to like get more events for them this year and have them work more.
Yeah.
Which in turn will allow me to get myself out of it because I want them to work more events.
Yeah.
So I feel like every year, like it changes a little bit for me anyway.
Yeah.
The bone is always going to be like never going back to corporate because I will never work for someone again. But like just the satisfaction that I'm able to help someone else.
Yeah.
And like you have a team now. You're growing a little bit of a team too.
Yeah. I'm going to add that to my list of whys.
Yeah.
Because every time working a wedding, when I'm doing photo and video, it's a team of 4 of us. And it's just the best party ever. Like just to be hanging out with like that core group of like 3 people all day long, and we're all in this together, and they each come up to me and they're like, oh, look at this really cool shot that I got like during cocktail hour and whatnot. It's just like such a fun feeling to be able to party with even more people. So I totally feel that. Oh my gosh, I love that. I didn't realize that I loved that much until you said that, and I was like, oh my gosh, wait. Yes,
we had one of our first events this year and we had both the trailers, so we had 5 of us total. I was kind of like the bar back that just like ran back and forth, like the ice bitch. I got anything that they needed.
General manager.
Yeah, general manager. There we go. I like ice bitch better. And the end of the night, like we were just all together. We just all worked our asses off. Like it was almost, I think it was over 200 people.
That's crazy.
Like, it was a great wedding. And we like took a selfie together at the end of the night, and like we sat and just like had a conversation together on like it was at a bride's house or her parents' house. We like sat on their back patio and just like hung out for a second just to like debrief the day and everything. And it was just like it was a pivotal point for me because it was the first time we'd ever done an event with both trailers that like a customer paid for. And it was just like the kickoff to the year. It was early June. So like that's our kickoff to the season. And like it was such a great moment to like all be together. I feel like it's making me think like I need to do something in the beginning of our season too with like my team. Just to like kick us off because we had such a great kickoff last year because we were together. So I gotta do something.
And bringing in new people too, it like sets the tone for them to be like, oh, okay,
I'm part of
I
something.
do like these girls. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I did that. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, but like I had the party in January, but then there was a few new like people that were coming to help intern and stuff, and I just had everyone over to my house, casual backyard, like did like barbecue, but it was a more like, hey, if you're new, meet the girls, and like ask all the questions of like, what shoes do you wear? Like, you know what I mean? It was just more like, what's the tea on like what we're gonna do? And then I was able to be a little bit of like, these are kind of the weddings we're gonna be doing this year. Yes, we'll all get trained on them, but like it was just kicking it, like getting excited again after the hiatus of like dull. No,
I have a selfish question actually. So so say you have a wedding coming up, like how do you prep your girls for that?
Yeah, so some of them will be working already, like admin behind the scenes with the client and vendor. So I try to have at least one person that's been involved be working. But then we have a kickoff call about 2 weeks before where I kind of go through everything with them. So we go through the timeline, we go through all the vendors, we talk about the couple and their families and just all the things that they need to know going into the day of. We're very big of, you're not just showing up on the day of and I'm handing you a clipboard being like, best of luck, go look what time your meal is, like check back in with me. Like we're very well versed, and of course questions will come up day of, but I want there to be time to digest.
I think we're nowhere near as in front of the couple and things like that. We kind of like have our own thing. So I do and this is something I need to work on this year. That's why I'm asking, because I feel like we put some systems into place, but it's not the best systems that we put into place. But that's definitely something that I need to do this year. What do you do anything?
Yeah, I do a 1 month out call before their final invoice is due. And if there's a planner, then it's usually like with them, or if I'm the videographer, then I'm usually just tagging along to the photographer's call and just kind of like a silent listener. And then after that, once I get like that last minute, like fresh chunk of information, I usually just do like a group chat with the girls that I'm working with, and I'm like, here's the deal. And then I have a Google Doc that the couple has access to that I also share with all the shooters. So it's the timeline and the family photo list so that they can see like, okay, how big is the bridal party? are there any other notes? Because at the bottom I have like miscellaneous things like what are your colors? What are your blah, blah, blahs? Just so that the couple can, or the shooters that I'm working with can see what the couple is like and if they have like a fancy vibe or if it's like a rustic casual vibe, just to like hear some words from them. But this year I'm kind of considering making like a, like an introduction kind of video to send to my shooters, because I do have some weddings that are associate coverage where I won't be there and people are covering them for me in my place. And a couple of them are still rather new to me. And so I'm kind of thinking I might do like a video that they can watch on their own time. They can watch it multiple times, like a week before the wedding, and like as I send it, like whatever. That's like, this is me and my style and my priorities, and like give the couple space. And for the first look, I like it to go like this, like just so that they can I don't know, further emulate, like, if I were there, this is what I would do. Yeah. And this is what the couple is kind of expecting because they booked me in my style, even though it's not me actually physically there. So I've been thinking about that, which might be like a good idea if like you have processes that are kind of the same for each wedding. That's like a routine kind of thing, because then that's information that's never going to change. And you can be like, here's this video, and you can send it back out like the day before the wedding, and they can just, you know, listen to it while they're doing their chores in the morning or whatever. That's my plan.
That's
but
smart.
Once I get a free minute to film it.
Weird.
What is free?
I'll
minute mean? I also started using this app called Connect Team, and it's for scheduling purposes. Do you guys use anything for scheduling?
Google Sheets.
Oh, okay.
I have a Google Sheets that my team is
I like
on with all their dates.
Put all the weddings in, basically. Like I just sent it out like 2 weeks ago, other than the ones coming up. I like sent it out and I'm like, this is everything happening, put when you're free, and then I see when everyone's free and I kind of schedule you know, the team based on that for the whole year.
Yeah, I do the same. And then they can go back and like double check the hours, and I link the Google Doc for each client so that they can like just click and click. And what's
so
the
it's
app
called
you
Connect
use?
Team, and like we all have access to it, and it'll show like the calendar, and like I don't really know how to work it because one of my bartenders was doing it for us. But like, I mean, obviously we're off season right now, so I don't even know how to work it, but there's a way. Okay, so it basically gives you a calendar. It's not loading. But like it'll say like sorry for anyone not for listening in, but it'll say like corporate party shift, bartender, 4 bartenders, 2 to 6 p.m. And then if you click on it, it'll have like all the bartenders that are working. It only says 2, but
and it adds to their calendar.
It adds to their they can add it to their calendar. They get a notification like when I put their shift in, they have to approve it. So like I know that they saw it, they approved it. And I think we'll use it more this year because again, I'm really not going to be at events. And then you can also put notes in. So for us, like I could put the specialty drinks that they're having, and it's like all in one kind of area. Usually I send them like a form that I fill out on like Canva, and it'll have like more of like the timeline, kind of notes about the bride and groom, and just like things that I want them to know. But I just feel like that kind of gets lost in the mix. Whereas this, I think I'm going to be like more savvy about using this year.
Cool.
I mean, the less touch points, the better.
Yeah.
People, so
if it's just like one little app, and then they'll get a notification like a few days before, like reminder, your shift is blah, blah, blah. I mean, we still like, I'm texting them all the time too from my own crazy brain. I'm like, you guys are good for Saturday, right?
Yeah. But the automation is probably nice, like, just in case.
Right. For
everyone. You have an
everyone.
emergency, something slips up, whatever.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then it's nice because they can like see like, you know, maybe if they can't work a shift, who's working, maybe someone else can pick it up. And I'm so grateful. My first hire, and I've said this before, she introduced me to all of her friends, and those are all of my bartenders. So they all know each other in some way, shape, or form. So I'm so grateful. That's so cool. Like they could just be like, hey, and like when I mess up things, they're like, wait, did Jen tell you this? Are you working? Am I working? And then they'll text me and be like, so-and-so said that she's working, but you told me that I was working. I was like, shit.
Hey, boss, you fucked up. You fucked up.
Boss, messed up. But they're just so amazing. And I'm so grateful for such, you know, like, obviously, if there's a new entrepreneur listening, you know, you might not have a team yet, but having a team is like unlike anything else because it shows your growth.
Yeah.
It shows that you're building something and you're helping other people. And, you know, this was always something I inspired myself to do. Like I always knew if I wanted to do multiple events, I had to have a team, but I didn't know what that looked like.
Right.
And it's scary because you're literally putting your business and your trust into someone else's hands. And I'm just a firm believer that if you give them the tools to be successful, they're going to be successful. Yeah. And when you find people who support you, and I know that you have that, and I have that, and I know you have it too, they want to see you succeed, and they want to see your business succeed. And it's like, when you find them, they're gems.
Yeah. They're gems.
They're gems that you give champagne to once a year. Lots of drinks. Oh my gosh. We had so much fun at that event. So we're wrapping up today, girl. Is there anything? Oh, I like to end with this.
I'm scared.
What is one thing? What's one thing that you would tell someone who is looking to get into the wedding scene, kind of doesn't know, and don't say stay away, kind of like is on the fence, but like really enjoys it. Maybe they plan their own wedding and they want to do it now too. Like, what's something that you wish you were told when you first started?
Ooh. So I will, two.
Yeah.
If you've planned your own wedding, I'm not saying you cannot plan other weddings, but I would just say if you have no event planning experience at all, maybe, take some classes or don't just jump right in. I do think there is the excitement. I know I said earlier, I planned my wedding and I was like, I'm never going to plan one, but I had like 10 years of event experience. Right. So just want to preface, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So if you have planned your wedding, you like it, maybe, you can follow other planners or something to see if it's something you'd be interested in, or like reach out and be like, hey, can I just kind of shadow you for a day or take classes?
That's great.
So that's just that. Because that makes me so anxious when you're like, my planner is someone who planned their wedding, but they're actually like a dentist. And I'm like, okay, best of luck to you. Anyways, so.
Not that they won't be amazing, but like if they don't have like any practice whatsoever with anybody but themselves,
it just makes me a little scared.
Well, I think we also hear it so much that people plan their own wedding and then become wedding planners. And I was actually just talking to someone about this, not to interrupt you.
No.
I was just talking to someone about this today, and they're like, being a wedding planner is one job that you don't need a license for. Mm-hmm. You don't need, there's no like, not that you don't need experience, because you absolutely do, getting into your point right now, but like, I think people have this persona of like, I plan my own wedding, I know what to do. So like, to your point, don't do that if you don't have experience. You need to have some type of training.
Yeah, doing something for your own needs and wants can be totally different than trying to do something for someone else.
Yeah, that's perfectly put.
Yeah.
I would say though, like something, I don't know if it's something I wish I was told, but just like in general, is just like be patient. Things take time. Things are going to feel like they're moving at 100 miles an hour always. And just like be patient, have grace for yourself. And the other last final thing is just like be kind to everyone, whether it's your clients, whether it is the vendors you're working with, prospect or not. You never know when you're going to come across other people. A vendor might become a client, or a vendor you don't hire for one thing because it wasn't a good fit. You might need them down the road for something. We're all going through it. It's all stressful, but if we're just kind for each other and we have each other's backs, and it's a team effort, right? Like, yes, I have my lane of a planner and you're a photographer and you are a mobile bar service, but we all are there to make these clients have the best day ever. So it's like a team effort. And also be kind to yourself. I know preaching to the choir, I burn out all the time, but like you have to find time for yourself. So whether that's taking a bath every Sunday if you need to, or like reading a book or going for a run, whatever it is, try and be consistent in like scheduling those things for you, because it's a lot on your
that's so important.
I love that.
Yeah.
Megan's been taking more baths. Are you still doing it?
Yes, I took a bath this morning.
Did you?
Yes, actually, I've been very good about not looking at my phone like first thing in the morning too. That's something that
Okay, how
2025
are you doing that?
Yeah.
Well, one thing, I really want to put a clock in this room. This is my bedroom for our listeners, if you can't tell. But I really want to put a clock in here, because I feel like the reason why I look at my phone first thing in the morning is because I want to know what time it is, obviously.
Yeah.
And so if I can put my phone like on my desk across the room or whatever, if I can wake up in the morning and find out the time another way, then I'm not going to look at my phone. And so I look at my phone and I get trapped in like, my notifications and what's on Instagram, and well, I already have my email open now, so I might as well see what's going on there. Yeah. And so I set an alarm this morning for 7. because I said I want to take a bath before Devon comes over and package the cookies that I baked last night and set up with the camera and everything. And so I took a bath. I read 2 chapters of my book. I ate a couple cookies and
breakfast of
and
champs.
here you are. And we started at 9:30 and you know, that's that. So
the lesson is baths solve everything.
Yeah. So no, for real. But no, I don't really have any advice about not looking at my phone. I turned my alarm off and I said no. I just put my foot down this morning.
If you're looking for an alarm clock that like is like a not like like that's so annoying.
Okay.
Hatch. It like it's like natural sunlight. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
Yeah.
So it like the light you can be like, oh, a half hour before my alarm actually goes off, have it be like light. And then it's like calming noises that wake you up, and then also there's stuff before you go to sleep.
Ooh,
so it's very like it tries to put you into did I just turn this off? Oh, I hit a button. I don't know. It's very like routine, getting you into routines. That. So look into it. It's a little bit of an investment, but like
they do have mock versions of it because it is an investment.
I
but
love it.
One of my friends, she's a massage therapist and she swears by it. She was like, it is the best purchase I've ever had.
I feel like that would be great for kids.
Oh yeah, they have like kid versions of it too. Yeah.
Tells you like bedtime stories and stuff.
Cute.
Like the Hatch does.
You can set it up so it's like, yeah, like there's all different ways you can go to like sleep, and it could be like on Tuesday I want it to like read me to sleep, or on Wednesday I want to have like meditation, or on Thursday I want this cool music. I still even haven't fully gone into like the app and like done it to the extent I probably can, but
no, it's funny we're talking about this because I literally just saw something about how one of my things this year was to not do my phone too first thing in the morning, and I didn't realize the research that has been done on you touching your phone first thing. It triggers your brain to literally make you have a bad day.
I feel so much better on the days that I don't look at it.
Yeah. But it's such a habit. It's such a bad habit, and it's such a hard habit to break because we all do it.
Yeah.
Like we literally all do it. I don't think there's one person who does not grab their phone first thing. Maybe my husband, but he doesn't count. He doesn't have social media. So, but yeah, it's really, really hard. So yeah, that's something that
we'll be in this together.
In this together.
Check in
goals
in a month.
Yeah. Hold me accountable.
I love this. All right. Well, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We are so happy that you joined us, and we hope that we inspired someone today to become a wedding planner or hire Devon, or just know that the wedding scene is really fun and we have a really good time in it.
One last thing, tell everybody your business name, where they can find you, your Instagram, your socials.
All right, All Sett Up. It's All Set. Everything is www.allsetup.com, but there's 2 T's in set. I know how to spell. My last name's Setembrini. All Sett Up on all the things.
Okay.
Love that.
Go follow Devon, leave us a review, and we'll see you Monday after next.
Cheers.
Cheers.